I'm a minute or two early, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Um, okay. Thanks for joining in here. Topic tonight. Um, get the AC going here. There we go. Uh, Building credit for a trust. Okay. We have a course that explains how to do it. This isn't that course. This is a discussion about that course. We have it at Liberty Aid Academy. And if you're in it, you know what I mean? If you're on tonight, but ask questions about it or whatever process you're going through. So thanks for the support, the people that are members here and so on. I'm just guessing you can hear me because somebody would say, we can't hear you. But okay. So building credit for the trust, that's what this is about. First thing, any of my work, really, let's just I'm gonna have to get really clear about this one particular thing. If you didn't get the trust from this school, we can't help you. That's just the way it works. Okay, you have to get a trust from the school that we can help you. Really, every other piece of work that can be done is done because you got the trust. Okay, so just a basic point there. Because you're doing a hack, right? Your trust and your person has nothing. Your all capital letter name, your name, right? And that straw man, the all right, Valeria. Hey, good. I'm guessing you can hear me. Welcome, Valeria. Thanks for the support. I'm just going over something here. If you didn't get the trust from me, I can't help you, right? That's what we're talking about is how to get the trust, right? If you didn't get the trust from me, I can't help it. Nothing works that you're gonna do unless you get it from me. It's very funny in my spiritual work that I use this trust and with financial work. It has to come through the right lineage. Like, that's part of it. The financial and the spiritual are in lockstep. So just what I'm finding out is people don't sign the trust and, you know, follow the rules of the trust. Um, None of this stuff works for them. Uh, there are almost no one that does that. But there are lots of people out there because you got these other schools and stuff that still not trust, but not, I have an MBA and a master's in accounting and 30 years of business experience. I invented this trust. I did it first. I'm the one that invented all these courses and all this information and what you do with the trust. So they don't know what they're doing. They just get people in trouble, and I don't get anyone in trouble. So if you sign the trust, why is that? You know what I mean? Because I've wrestled with this because I'm like, this doesn't seem fair to me. Honestly, I'll just be like that because my goal is to help as many people as possible. There's no real money in this on my end. There's the most basic level of survival. You know what I mean? Speaking from my bedroom, just being real. Like anybody that's like not being real like this, they're not real. They're just a character. They're fake. But I'm being real. I've been doing this, with proof now over a decade on this particular channel. I mean, I have put up my unredacted social security card and number and passport and driver's license and all kind of other stuff on this channel. Get taken down various times or whatever. Still put it all up, so people knew I was real and all my outcomes. All that information. Just so people would know I'm real because everything, you can't get anywhere in the knowledge base of our situation until you accept the first thing. You know what I mean? And it's a very hard pill to swallow. Here's the red pill, right? Here's the hard pill to swallow. Honestly, I'll just tell you what it is. That you've been lied to about everything. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I figured this out. Boom, And it's like, uh no, you just maybe you figured out one thing, but you haven't really begun to figure out anything until you realize you've been lied to about everything. And until you do that, and until somebody's coming from that place of knowledge and then going, okay, here's what's really happening, based on scientific method, right? Form a hypothesis, go test it, um, see what the experiential outcomes from actions are based on the hypothesis and the testing. And then you have information, you have knowledge, you have, in my case, I test financial and spiritual technology, right? And I don't release it until, uh, like I'll release preliminary stuff out there for free on a YouTube channel and everything like that. But I mean, I don't release this technology until I have proof I've done it myself. That's my work. And you can't find that at any other school or anyone on the internet. They simply do not have proof that they done whatever they're talking about. Neither does any professional out there, like in an office building, like in your hood, like the accountant in your neighborhood. No proof. They got a sign and they got a license. They got clients and stuff, but they got no proof. They just who has proof? I've been posting it for over a decade now, so I've been asked to, how can you tell us, somebody's real? It's like with proof. There's never going to be another method. Like, oh, I have the supers, they're the ones with the handshakes and all that stuff. That's not us, So we just asked for proof. And this is something that people, I don't, no one ever does this, you know what I mean, that I run into out there. They don't test me, like, because if you're looking for truth, it's like, oh, where's truth? Is it in the Bible? Uh, and the Bible, it says, how do you know if somebody's lying? Basically, how do you know if they're evil or not evil? And it's like, you know them by their fruits. In other words, they have proof. They have outcome. They have, oh, I did this. Here's my information. It's out there in public. Let me access. Oh, I'll pull it up on my phone. Here you go. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. So unless someone has that, right? Because everyone is guilty until proven innocent. Because right, everyone's lying. So which makes them complicit in one of two ways, right? In this system of lies. One of two ways, right? One of two ways. They're stupid, so they don't count. In other words, their opinions don't count. They don't have any merit. Like talking to them is a waste of time. They're stupid. So why you're trying to solve your problems here, and they're stupid, so they're not going to help. They're going to waste your time, or they're complicit. You see, they're the ones doing this. Either group. It's same to you, right? They don't have proof. They're guilty until they have proof. Guilty until proven innocent. That's actually the way that humans have to exist now, because the parasites that have taken hold of this place or always have hold of this place or whatever, they're parasites and they look human and all this stuff. So it's a spiritual battle. We're here to talk about finances tonight, and I'm going to go through that. But everything happens with a trust because what? The in God we trust, right? In God we trust is a trust, okay? Well, the trust that I dispense has the same spiritual level, right? We is the devil for them, okay? Every soul signed up for the devil. So here's a way you could, you know, as an adult, sign your soul away from the devil, okay? And then you're allowed to bank with that information and build credit and so on, right? Do all this work. Okay, so tonight, and there's no way to get out of that process. You see what I'm saying? Because I I don't want to belabor this, but it's really people don't get the trust from me and don't like, pay the proper minor entrance fee. They didn't get it through me, the one who invented this with the copyright said everything and was gifted this right knowledge, obviously, you know, in the spiritual hierarchy. And so I'm just trying to be honest and real because I never said this before. Honestly, I've been doing this a decade. I never actually said this before. And so I've been doing this work for years, but if it's not working for you with the trust you got out there somewhere, it's not my fault. If you found my work out there somewhere else that you didn't, pay the piper, and give the minimal fee for the school. Hey, the stuff's not going to work for you. Uh, I'm just you have I have to be real and tell people that because I've been testing this technology to see what if I could get around it because I see the ocean of wow, it's warmer in here. Sorry. I see the ocean of homeless people, okay? And I feel their pain. I don't want them homeless. I don't want anyone homeless. Children on the street. I mean, you'll know them by their fruits, right? So the government is evil because they allow women and children, men and women and children to live on the streets with all these empty houses that the bank has. So, you know them by their fruits, right? They're evil, period. So the technology to get around them, I can't get around it. Everything I tried 4 years myself and others, if you haven't signed the trust, it doesn't work. Not on any level. Maybe some things happen well for you, but what's going to happen is other things, they didn't go so well. So I'm just trying to be real like that. You can't, every soul is with the in God we trust. If you think this is not real, that you're not paying attention to any of my work. So you have to get out of the that problem, with God's shadow over there first. You have to get out of the contract with the devil. Everyone is there already, sadly. So, and maybe we could go into some of that at the end of this, but it's a very important point to make because I'm trying to help people and I'm actually trying to get around me. And I have been for years trying to get around me so that I don't need to be no linchpin up in here. Seriously, like I really, after a while, this isn't easy, okay? So maybe I could just, turn it all loose and turn everyone loose and fill the holes and but there's no way around the lineage of why is that? You know what I'm saying? Why? Because this is a spiritual war for your soul, and if your soul's not ready, you don't win the war. You don't get to skip from here to the end. It don't work like that. You have to take every step of the journey. Otherwise, the ones that have taken the journey before and succeeded, it's an injustice to them. It's unfair to them. So God is fair. The game feels unfair at times. Don't get me wrong, but this just like Jesus, he's like, no, I'll die on the cross. Like he didn't even get around the law of dharma, that underlies everything, the common law, and karma is what happens on your actions on it. Like even like I'm not going around it. I'm going to show you the principles at work here and so on, and that this place isn't so important, but it's really important that you solve the situation and get out of this problem. So you have to, get out of it with the devil. Jesus didn't sign anything, but obviously he met with the devil, and he's like, no. So, but now we're signed. There's paperwork and stuff. I had nothing to do with creating this. I did it. I found a solution, but I was not. I never the least bit in on creating any of this. I have the solution that I succeeded in solving first. Found the ego we trust, have the professional training and experience to overcome this. And so, if you don't come through me, you're going through somebody that what you see what I'm saying? Like karma is a law. No one can get outside of it. What happened to me last night? I go to the drum circle, right? And this, whatever is in the news, I swear they come right up to me. I don't watch the news, nothing like that, right? Uh, I had to look it up, and it's like, oh, this woman, oh, I'm from Lahaina, I have people there, and I'm saying, those houses and the many people that died. And she looked at me, telling this story. And, I know what it's like them houses burn and the trees are green as a blade of grass in summer, like perfect, but the houses are ash and, that's God. And so my answer to her was karma is a law that no one is outside of. And she said, what? I had to tell her like 5 times in a row the same sentence. She said, "Can you spell the first word?" I said, Karma. She's like she couldn't believe that I said that to her. But you know, it's coming for everybody. It's just, if your house is ash and, the survivors are, there's nothing, well, maybe you should have been up to what you were up to there in Lahaina. Like, I gotta say that. Why are you coming over to me to hear that from me? I don't, you follow? I'm gonna get a little more fan here. So, the BS script, everything's a lie except for this trust that this whole spiritual thing is, it's all real. And so we have to solve that first, get the trust done, come through, the one with proof, right? I'm guilty until proven innocent. I'm innocent. Here's the trust, here's my proof, I done it, right? Okay, so you got to start with the trust. So I just want to be clear with that. After you get the trust, you can move on to the other courses, like the course we're going to talk about tonight is how to build credit for a trust. So it's in depth. It's each detail as you go through the course. I'm not. This isn't a course. We have the course, but let's start from the overview. Okay, why build credit? Why build credit? You see, to say what is the purpose of building credit for a trust and so on. Let's go through that. That's what you really got to get a hold of here. Okay. Uh, why build credit at all? You follow me? Like for gold stars from the bankers, I like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, to the government and the bankers, you're number one, right? You know, you follow, not you, I'm not, but them, you see? Uh, okay, so, you know, it's not, you know, I want a gold star for the banker, credit reports like, hopefully, well, what's so bad about having a bad credit report? I mean, you can't get into debt. Okay, that's cool. What else? You, I mean, really, okay, you can't buy a house, like, but if you were gonna buy a house with some money, you don't need good credit. You need money. You follow me? You don't need credit to buy a house. That's how to not buy a house. That's how to get credit and have the bank own a house while you're living there. That's not buying a house. You see? So credit doesn't buy anything like that. It just gets you into debt. So how's that really any good, really? Like it's just giving you money at a percentage you're gonna pay extra money. Like how's that any even really helpful? I don't, the whole concept is some greedy. I mean, if you look behind the scenes, obviously they're just inventing this money out of thin air, and it's slavery because the bank never signs a document. So it's literally we're enslaved to these creepy creatures running banks and stuff. So what is credit good for? Well, it's good to take back some resources because they stole everything, right? They stole everything. The quote country, like this isn't a slavery plantation. No matter your color, your skin, that's just programming to divide us amongst the actual slaves that are alive tonight, today, at this second, everywhere that exists. Everyone alive is some debt slave, right? They don't own nothing. And if they do, they got to pay taxes on this or that or land or you watch down the street. And, but oh my God, it never ends. Freedom is a hoax, obviously. So, we're enslaved to these creatures and we're supposed to feel bad about having debt when the only way to get money is actually to get debt. So we look at the basics of the situation. The situation is worst case scenario, if you mess up your credit, it's wiped clean 7 years later, good to go, back in the game. Okay, so worst case, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst that could happen to you. So it's like, well, wait a minute. You're gonna wipe my credit clean after I take money off of credit? It's like, yeah, That's the rule. Okay, so no matter how much I take? Yeah, no matter how much you take. Oh, so if I take $300 and just screw up my credit a little bit, uh, or if I take like a couple hundred grand, same 7 years? Yeah, same 7 years, same exact. And you're like, "Wha I'm not that great at math, but is it a couple hundred grand more than like $300?" You know what I mean? Like, even the worst at math would be like, "Isn't that more money?" Like, a huge amount more money, you know? Like, so you could situationally organize everything to mess up, a trust credit, your personal credit, like every piece of credit you could possibly access out there, periodically. Say it takes a year or two or whatever to build that credit, then oops, stuff happens, and maybe, all the credit gets drained into a separate trust through various methods that we teach, and it's not in any of your personal name or in a trust. It's in something else, another trust that you make. You're doing all this. We teach you how. None of it's ours. I'm not on anything, nothing like that. This is just knowledge that you use. And so, anyway, you're gonna build this credit. Woo, whoa, whoa, whoa. And every time you do this, you build your knowledge base, for the next time. And you lower your programming, like, hey, taking their money was sweet. You know what I mean? Like, great. That did it. That was excellent, When you get the card up to like 25 grand and you're like, yeah, one of them. And you're like, oh, well, go through anymore. You're like, and you look at the balance, it's like, oh, shoot, man, I went over 25 grand. Yes. You know what I mean? So the reason to build credit is to take back the pittance, right? We're slaves. They, the managers of the country, the government. I mean, aren't they supposed to be managing the resources, like cutting us a check every month? And it's all our resources, right? Well, then how come we don't get free energy, free electricity, free land? It's all here in this country, and these are the people of this country. Why don't we have it? Why you charge us money, debt? What are you talking about? Like, you obviously sold your souls to the devil to make that stuff happen because you're running our country. We got all the guns in the whole earth practically, and why are we paying anyone? It's so simple. In fact, if you had a government that said, "Oh, you owe us money now," it's like you're fired. In fact, anyone that says that, right, you're fired on national TV, on the news, and we'll chop off your heads. I mean, let's just be real. Obviously, basically, you know what I mean? Like, if reality was real, you know what I'm saying? We weren't actual just slaves. That's what we would be doing as, real humans if we weren't enslaved by these parasites among us who are doing these evil things and selling their souls on purpose to keep us enslaved. So that's why the trust is really important in the beginning. It's really important that you understand you're an actual slave, like not a, oh, he's talking hypothetical. No, not in any way. Uh, you're a slave to the devil, and then you're still a slave when you sign that trust to the other guy. That's it, to Jesus. So, I mean, that's all you're ever going to be. You see until you reach the end of the game, and you're trustworthy. That's why I can't hack it backwards. I'd be like, no, I can't take any steps out of this. The soul has to evolve all the way through. I can't do it. You see, nothing I can do to stop it. So, but knowing that baseline, here we are. What you gotta, and if your family, you know what I mean. You take this knowledge, or you work together. Let's say husband and wife. Oh, okay, partnership. I don't recommend husband and wife paperwork for your purchase. That's stupid. But I mean, a trust, you actually trust each other because you have equal access to funds. You have to be very trustworthy to use a trust. It's no joke about amongst relationships. It doesn't work for people that don't trust one another and aren't trustworthy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because they'll lie, they'll steal, they'll do all this evil stuff, and so it doesn't work for them. So the trust is a really important first step. So now let's say you're building credit for your person, you're building credit for a trust, you got this other trust over here, never build credit for nothing like that. It's got a bank account, doesn't even operate. You build up all this credit, take all the credit, all the money or whatever, and dump it into this trust over here that doesn't have a bad credit report or anything. You see what I'm saying? It didn't do anything wrong. It has all the money, but suckers, that's just their game. It's a way to win it. Monopoly, fair and square. That's the law. I just moved the money over there, screwed them. Same bank, even. It don't even matter. It's like a bank don't want to bank with you after you screwed up, credit with them. So don't bank with a bank after you mess up credit. Like plan open accounts elsewhere before you go through this, obviously, right? And then also, because the government's obviously wise to this because they do it themselves all the time. The ones that know, right? Trump's like, oh, I got to trust. And then he, for bankrupts all these companies and stuff like that. Okay, that's, got credit, bankrupt through his main trust like that. Just, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars in credit. He has access to more credit. He just build better credit profile and all that. The goal is to get better at this each time, take more and more each time. So that way, buy something for cash. You don't need no credit. That's what I done at the place I'm sitting in. I got to pay monthly to be in a mobile home, but on the land, but place paid for. No mortgage, stuff like that. My credit was messed up then, so I was like, okay, thanks for the money. And they couldn't get nothing, put it in a trust, not in one that had a bad credit report, and that was that. See, it's easy to play this, game of cups where it's like, where's the ball? They can't get anything. It's their game. They invented it and made it so no one can take this stuff. Well, it works for us. You see? So, and if you're husband and wife, right, you should be doing this, taking turns, oh, hey, get real money, you know, over 100,000. Maybe if you get good at it, over 200,000, maybe more if you get really good at it. Each time you do it, try to get more credit, take more money. So, that's really the goal of this process of why to build credit. It's also sheep's clothing, right? A sheepskin. You know, uh, they read everything wherever you go in public now, in every city, airport, blah, blah, highway, blah. You know what I mean? Wherever you are, they're reading the slaves. They know what's in your wallet. Everything has electronic. They know, if it's dollar bills, they know everything you have in your pocket. They know they can read your credit cards from, you're in an airport. They can read everything in your wallet, obviously, everything. They know everything about everyone in your phone. Like keeping them out of your phone is a joke. It's no identity theft is just them screwing with you. They know everything. They can get at everything. There's a backdoor to everything for them. Give me a break. They know everything that's going on. Everything. There's nothing they don't know. You see. So using this method is using their methods, which work for them. And that's why these methods never stop working because they didn't invent anything. You see, this script is just laid down. They're not going to be like, oh, let's change the, people are like, well, what happens when they close the loophole? It's like, you mean what happens when they close the entire financial system of the earth? Because it all runs on trust and everything. So, like, what are you talking about? What can you know what I mean? When you read about China, it's like, all the trusts, it's like trust, 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 China, trust, trust. Like, what are you talking about? Every country is all these trusts, foundation, that's what they're doing and hiding all their wealth so they don't have to pay taxes and ruling everything. It's like what they're gonna invent something else to change the entire world financial system. Uh, the laziest ones that do basically nothing are gonna do that. I don't. Does that? No, no, that's not. They're just gonna run this into the ground and make a big, like crash test dummy. But whoa, what? You know what I mean? That's the thing at the end of the really big show. Pow! Go out with a bang. Boom. The Ponzi scheme is falling apart. Obviously, they're gonna have to get back in the hairdo guy with some, you know, helicopter money. So you got to get your business credit right? Last time told everybody get business credit, get business credit. Well, I told everybody. I told everybody for a couple years and taught people. And what happened? Helicopter money. This time I'm just saying, there's helicopter money coming if you don't get your, credit profile for your trust together and stuff. What are you gonna be like? Nah, no, I don't need the money. What, you don't need like 100 grand, a couple 100 grand? Last time we what? They're giving it away, and you don't. I have, they got me down to nothing practically. My person turned 62 this year. You know how much my Social Security kicked in? Oh, baby, I'm stoked. $300. So it ain't doing. I'm still, 7 days a week working against the system. Yeah, right now it's like, oh, building credit. Whoop! I'm gonna, get every nickel I can. Two of the credit reports are back to great. One has NASA just won't relent. They just won't. I've done everything against them because I talked so much about them before I did it too. I exposed that everything they do is a lie, the real Earth, everything. Right? I've done everything, and then I went and took 21,000 from NASA Federal Credit Union and showed them the proof and everything. Like, look, the ballers, I'm taking their money. I remember, oh man, I was so funny back then. But I was like, oh, here's one way to get back at NASA because if you look at how many billions of dollars you got, I'm taking my portion of all the billions they took has got to be like 21 grand. I took mine back. That's what I. But they still won't relent. They were just I've done everything to them. They are fun. They have been really fun. I learned a lot from them. So thanks for the most evil organization, the bankers of the most evil organization on earth, NASA. So that who's evil enough to do business with NASA? NASA Federal Credit Union. Anyway, I'm just saying, like we gotta balance the spiritual karma up in here for ourselves, for our family. We gotta help them expose the whole thing, and also cha-ching, go to sleep at night like, oh, I actually sleep better with your 21,000 tonight. Thanks. See you later. I gotta spend it on rent and every other high priced, every ridiculously priced thing in this dome. Pathetic, crazy. Who can afford a house though? They have no shame. Literally, they're without. They don't have a heart. You see what I'm saying? Like the creatures are like, you know insects. They're not like, they don't display human behavior. They just do not. There's nothing about this human. You got all the houses and all the real estate and everything, and all, and I'm talking about all the oil, all the minerals, everything to the whole country. You got it all for free, and you're the government, and now we owe you money. Can you help me? Anyone? Why? I don't have a gun, but if you're, oh, I got my gun and blah blah. Why you haven't shot anyone and you've been a slave your whole life? You're like, you're such a well trained slave. All these gun owners, they're such a well trained slave. They don't even know they're a slave. They're like, man, I'm watching my prison line down in Texas. You can't get into our prison, stay in your own prison. It's like, you know okay, so I have this new method, okay, for I say human intelligence is a hoax, okay? That's what I say. Human intelligence is a hoax. I really think it is. And so I have a test. Uh I say, and I do this regular around people now, like this is so fun. I was like, oh, okay, I got a test. I was like, I look at him like I'm in a lobby somewhere. Wait, you know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, I think human intelligence is a hoax. I got a test. You mind? And he go, it's somebody the same my age or whatever, older, right? I was like, you've had a couple decades, okay? See what you come up with. I'll give you a hint. It's a trick question, okay? Uh, but here it is. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And they look at me, and they don't know the answer. No one knows the answer. And it's been decades, you know what I mean? Like nothing. And I'm like, it's a trick question. God came first. That's the whole point. Like everything, kapow. Boop. Anyway, human intelligence is a hoax. Like, you gotta have proof. At least if you have enough intelligence to see the path is the right path, someone that has, the proof of truly doing something like I have and the school has, and the many people that have done this work have without that proof, what are you left with? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be dealing with one of these creepy creatures, right? CC 33, creepy creature. Right? Creepy creatures. We need them, right? If everything's cool and you got your feet up at the beach and next day, same, no problemos the whole way through, you're not going to advance spiritually. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're given a hard time. But we need an adversary. And to really become our best, like superhuman, and, return to spiritually where we're supposed to go and become enlightened and all that stuff, we need an adversary, that uh, that that does battle with us so well. Right? Necessity is the mother of invention. That we are necessitated into the creation of super consciousness and so on to beat them. You see, so we need that level of adversary of being enslaved to the banks and all this stuff, because then we have to go, oh, I'm enslaved. How do I feed myself and my family and keep a roof over my head and all this stuff? That's what I teach, this practical information, which as you do it, you build credit, and then you just bob out and take all their money and don't pay them back. You're like, hey, banker, guess what? Thanks for the gumballs, Mickey. Later. You know what I mean? And you have no remorse, and you sleep at night. You're like, hey, I was a really crappy slave today. It's like, give myself 5. Yeah, humans, like, they're not going to do that to us. They're just going to be like, their thing is put the pressure, right? Every crab in the pot. And you're like, get me out of this pot. I don't, you all can stay out of there. Let me out of here. It's like, quit pulling me back in the pot, stop it. The other crabs. That's what it's like here. But we need that level of adversary to overcome so that we get to the business of having to do this annoying. I'm an accountant. Why did I go to get, my master's in accounting after getting my MBA? For me, it was because I'm pretty good at math, honestly. Not great. I'm not like some mathematician, blah blah. No, 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 no. But I'm pretty good at math. My mom was a math teacher, and so was inundated with that crap, But uh, I I get to the I had accounting classes and stuff. I went through I have my undergraduates in business and finance. I went through accounting there and went through accounting, and I get to the end and get my MBA. I was like, I don't get this accounting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. And I got a master's in it, and you know, everything that all I had to do and all that stuff. It was crazy. All the work I did and worked as an auditor and uh, you know, but all I found out as an auditor is like this system, there's something, it doesn't make any sense. There's all I can see from the curtain is there's something behind the curtain that I'm not seeing. Like, of course it don't make sense. It's just enough information so the slaves fill out paperwork so the slave managers can watch over the slaves. But it's not, even I'm so smart with numbers and account and stuff, they can't even see through this facade, you know, of the truth of this is a BS system. Like, where's the actual wealth and how was it created? And like, it doesn't make any sense. Everyone's cooking the books, like, so far it's a joke. And some of it's not even on the books, like your trust, you know, and their trusts, they're not on any books anywhere. They don't report. They're not on the books, but they're the ones that are sort of going down and stuff like that because this Ponzi scheme is just, you know, you think you're like building credit for your trust against somebody. That's all they don't. That's not. They run the banks. They give it all to themselves. They gave themselves free homes. They don't have bills. They just taken so much and with such a level of greed that you and I can't even imagine, without remorse, and leave everyone on the streets and everything. Because for them, they're evil. They worship the devil, and out of darkness, light. They're like, we'll be evil to you, and eventually you'll get to God because our level of evil will drive you there. Don't worry, we're that evil. Don't count us out. Never count us out. We're always that evil. All of them. So they always push us that way. But in the meantime, you have to lose your programming, play the financial game, put money in the bank and in your trust account, build up the credit and all that stuff, and then put it over to the safe credit, get the money there and be cool. Get your expenses down as best as you can, right? That's what I teach in all these other things. How to get a free phone? Oh, no phone bill. How to get free food, right? Get your EBT. That's two, $281 a month. Oh, okay. So that's free. All these things go together that allow you to have some extra time to do this building of credit and so on, learning about the financial stuff. It gives you, I don't have to spend as many hours working for somebody else and wasting my whole life. I could be, learning this information. Still, we have to serve someone else, but we could, like I do. I haven't had, I don't make enough money to stop. I barely survived. Like this summer's been a complete, nobody, no one's made any money except for the people that are working here, the staff, not me. Uh, the whole summer I'm doing this, and this happens pretty regularly. There's nobody. So me doing this myself is actually the only way I can keep this school open is to build up credit periodically over the years and then pay my expenses or the expenses of the school to keep it open and be able to help people. You know what I mean? Like it's getting like around again where it's like, well, should I keep it open or what I mean? It's ridiculous how throttled the truth is here. They are so absolutely scared of you, me, and this whole thing. It's crazy from their from their treatment of me. Like, what are you so scared of? You can't even let me get out there and like be on YouTube. There's no way. Like the truth is what they are afraid of. What ends their ownership of us as slaves? Knowledge. Once the slaves have knowledge and aren't programmed to lies, they're going to be very hard to tell what to do, aren't they? Once they know the truth of their situation, they're going to be very hard. So, you're not going back to being a good slave once you're like, well, I built my credit, put the money over there, and everything's cool. Now my person has more credit. So what? I'm building my next trust credit for the next time I'm going to do it. I'm still building some credit. You see, you can still build credit for your trust and get a great trust credit profile with absolute, like, your personal credit could be 300, 400, 500. I've still done it. You're building a credit for your trust over there or multiple or one. And it's like, oh yeah, it's Bob on. So when that person's back in the game again, it's like, whoop, thanks for, you just build credit like crazy. You're always taking a little bit of time out of your week, maybe put it on your schedule an hour or something like that every week. Oh, for an hour, I'll do this. So you kind of plan out, oh, I'm going to do this. This is my schedule. Here's the next 3 things I'm going to do, 5 things, whatever. You kind of a plan and put an hour towards it a week. And then, after some time, you get through those 3 things and then, you build another list. So you just keep with it. You got to, like, it's better than spending your time working for somebody else because this knowledge is always useful. And knowledge is real knowledge when it becomes wisdom. In other words, use information, you did it, and you experience it, then you really have wisdom, you know. And so the next time you're better at it, next time you're helping somebody else, your family, you explain it to somebody else, you got the proof, your wife, your whole family. Thanks for the money. We were super duper, broke ass, poor, barely eating, and now, or in any state you're in, your assets are going to be over in another trust and never going to get nothing. So everyone wins all the time. No one loses. The government only loses. Take their money. In the end, it's just I simplify the whole thing and say, there's only take. Once you realize you're a slave of this whole system, your mind isn't the whole guilt trip of guilt. That you hate guilt, right? Like gold. You took our money, you should feel bad about it, right? Guilt, gold. That's what they're saying. You took our money, you should feel bad. It's like, no, wait, you took everything. I took back a small pittance by playing back by your stupid rules, and it's all I got. I feel guilty a little bit. Maybe I could have gotten some more. So next time I'm gonna get more. You see, if you don't have that mindset, you're not gonna maximize what you could do. You're also not engaged in reality. You're over there in a fantasy. You're thinking something's going on that, oh, I'm not a slave of the government. Wait, oh yeah, try taking the tags off your car and driving around. See how that goes. You're not a slave. See how that goes for you. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is pure slavery. Period. There's nothing else going on here. And so you got to maximize what you can do by playing by the rules. And in fact, let's just get into sort of the end of this. I don't see any questions really much coming. The real end game of this, once you get good at this, can be if you want. You know what I mean? There are two end games that are great. Actually, there are two end games. Let's talk about them both. One is you build up your credit and you knock it out of the park. You buy everything you can, gold, do whatever, like all the methods you can turn that money back into cash or whatever assets, and put it in the name of a trust that's over there, not the one you bankrupted, right? However you do that, great, do it to the max, right? But there there are two. I'm sorry, there are two methods that they have. One, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's actually the easiest. So think about this. You should think about it too, because it's kind of a good one. Let's say, oh, you use up the credit, you're not gonna pay the bills are gonna come in, blah blah blah. Right? The bankers want their money. Number one, maybe the best thing to do, not I would say from my standpoint, maybe the best thing to do is nothing. You know what I mean? Like, don't even worry about it. Like, somebody starts calling your phone number or whatever about, and blah blah blah. But, your payments later. Oh, that's the number to block by whoever's calling. Just block them out. You know, and you get you get some mail in the mail. It's like, just throw it in the trash. Just who cares? Do nothing. Just screw it. Just throw it all away. That's fine. Uh, totally cool to do that. Actually, there are three methods. Three. Another is you could go get the debt savior information off Jesus Christ Trust on net. You can find him and work on getting them bad marks removed from your credit report. If you want to speed up the game, that's fine. People have been doing that for years. Got the proof. So that's one. And the third one is, so there are really three. Sorry, three. Third one is, each state has its rules that you'd have to look into in your state. Okay, like when you mess up your credit, you're not supposed to be able to get bankruptcy if you bought a bunch of stuff with your credit cards and stuff in the last 30, 60, 90 days or something like that. Meaning your credit was pretty bad, but then you're like, screw it. And you spent the rest of the money, you're like, it's going to be messed up anyway. They're not going to give you bankruptcy. Each state has rules about that. So if you want to play the bankruptcy game, or you pay a lawyer to walk in and like, give me a bankruptcy instead of all these messed up accounts, right? Is bankruptcy. You can look into your state's rules and play by them rules, and sort of basically be willing to pay them interest and so on until you pay, so you didn't mess up in the last 6, 30, 60, 90, whatever your state's rules are. You paid for a little bit in order to be able to pay a lawyer to go get yourself a bankruptcy, just in case you wanted to. But you know what I mean? Whatever, you could do that, but what if they don't give you the bankruptcy, even though you did it? Because, the judge has got to be like, okay, here, grant it or whatever. So play by the rules, best chance you get it. But, you might not get it. It's a hassle. You got to pay them interest. You got to stay up with that shit, you know? So just, just, oh, this is what I'm going to wreck it. Just wreck it. I'd be like, whatever, you've got as much as you can. So just throw all that crap in the trash and be like, thanks for the money. And then 7 years later, look at your credit report. I mean, all three are completely valid methods. You know what I mean? And they're for whatever your temperament is. And have but building the credit is for, one of those end games, and to keep the money. And then do it all over again. And go to sleep at night and be like, yeah, that was great. And you go to sleep. I sleep better with cash in the trust account. Yes. And then off you go to sleep and everything's cool. Building credit for the trust. Okay. Now next week we're gonna do live public. Everyone it's the last Thursday of the month, 31st. So we're going to go live, and it's going to be about how to do business with a trust. That's another course that we have. How you can use like, I want to do business and not pay taxes and not report to the government. Yay! See you next week. Great. So miracles, right? If you're interested in, right, you can't get out of death and taxes. If you want to get out of taxes, that's here, libertyaidacademy.org. Want to get out of death, you get that information out of Jesus Christ Trust.net. And of course, it's just you sign one trust, it actually does them both. So the death and taxes is a hoax. I don't see any questions or anything. I'm hoping that I'm going to get some video help here. We'll get it more interactive and stuff. We're going through those steps. It takes time. Everything is hard to make happen here. It's crazy. Until people start trying to help us work with this, they have really no idea. They're like, no, you just, no. Like everything is wickedly more difficult when people work with us. But we're getting through it. So anyway, I hope to see everybody next week. We do a big public live, and that brings a lot of people. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for the support. If nobody has anything on their mind, what do you say, I think that's pretty much the basics and then the overview and a lot of the details of the hows and whys you need to do, building credit for your trust and everything. No questions. Say good. Okay, people, good. Say the game. What? We win if everyone's cool in their family, right? They're gonna try and mess us up, but everyone has a good attitude, right? That's why on my license plate I had to get plates for the van I got. And one of the options is it got We Trust. I'm like, no. And it's Sunshine State. I was like, yes, right? Because that's a state of mind, right? I'm gonna keep it sunny, right? Like heavenly. Because we win if we're happy in our work, right? I'm happy I could have taken no money from the banks. That would have been a lot worse. I got 100 grand. Yay. I got 200 grand. Better. Blah, 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 get ready for the helicopter money, however much that's going to be. So everybody can get a Tesla in every driveway or, whatever the new slogan's going to be from the hair dude, right? Let's get a real business criminal in there. Get some helicopter. Let's get some real helicopter money this time. That's what I want to see. He'll be great. Get a pro wrestler business, hairdo. Yes. Why not? It's hilarious. Okay. Everyone, I guess I'll see you next week for the big public show. Have a great week. I'll be in the forum if anyone needs me. In the meantime, the classroom. Okay. Good work, everyone. A lot of progress. Thanks for everyone that posts the forum, their progress, their proof, and all that. It's steady. This work is steady, more proof. It just continues to be every week, every month, every year, decade. all this progress from so many people. So thanks for all your hard work. A lot of great people, a lot of great students here at this school. Uh, I really like supporting everything that everyone does. I love my work. I really do. Because I love to see everyone succeed. So, all right, let's keep with it. I'll see you next week. Thanks for everyone.